Hey there everyone, Byron here. And this week on what? Photokina 2016 is happening? GoPro might have a nice camera. Google can't figure out a naming schema. The iPhone 7 is a hissing monster without an ear hole. Like a chicken. Welcome to the first episode of what's happening around tech. This segment is all about what tech is out there, what tech is at the news, what kind of strikes me as kind of cool, interesting, and just kind of give a quick shot as far as what's happening around tech. So let's get started and see what's going on. So this week is the big Photokina 2016, and if you don't know what Photokina 2016 is, that is basically the photo people's nerd fest. It's equivalent to technology CES is what it is, but all cameras, all things that have to do with photography and things of that nature. So it's kind of a cool, interesting thing that happens. It happens over in Cologne, Germany. So kind of neat stuff that comes out. I've been kind of watching it and seeing what's happening on, but two things really strike me as kind of neat. The first one is going to be Fujifilm has a new medium format camera being showcased there. It's the GFX 50S, that's 50S. A lot of good specs from it from what I see. It's a medium format camera, so the sensor is bigger than 35mm, which is nice. It's going to be a whopping 51.4 megapixels. I don't care who you are. I know a lot of people say that megapixels don't really count in the overall scheme, but I disagree. More is always better. And if you really don't believe me, then just go ask HTC, who when they came out with the M7 and only had a 4 megapixel camera on the rear, see how much people complained about 4 megapixels, even though that sensor took better shots. Still wasn't enough pixels to do what they wanted to do. So megapixels count, I don't care what you are. It does have a removable and orientable viewfinder. So you can change the viewfinder how you want it. You can take it completely off if you want to, put on a different type of viewfinder, which is kind of neat. So you got a hot shoe viewfinder, which has a hot shoe on it. Kind of cool. It does a 4:3 default aspect ratio, which, that's nothing surprising. I'm assuming it does 4K. I hope it does 4K out of the box. I would really be surprised if it didn't. That would really be stupid of Fuji to not to do 4K out of the box. The one comparable camera to it is Hasselblad's X1D 50C, which is also a big medium-sized format camera, but only shoots 1080p, which is kind of surprising. So Fuji really needs to step it up and do 4K out of the box with that thing. It should be less than Hasselblad's. They're saying less than 10,000. Hasselblad's coming in at 8,900. Which is on the high end, so I'm guessing probably for that body it's going to be 6,000 or so, but that's just a guess. You never know, it might come in at 8,899. You never know, so we'll see, but I'm interested to see exactly what happens with that thing. The other interesting thing that came out there is Nikon's new VR camera called the Nikon's Key Mission 360 VR action camera. Wow, they put a lot of stuff in there. They just, whatever. But it's basically a box. We know how they are. It's a square, 2 lenses on either side. There's nothing too fancy about it. It does have, which is kind of interesting, two 20 megapixels, 1 2/3 inch sensors. So that should give it good enough quality to do what you want to do. It does have some ultra wide angle lenses, which of course happens. The only way you can do it for VR. It is shock proof up to 2 meters, which is 6.5 feet. So you can drop it from basically top of your head and it should be okay. Waterproof up to 30 meters, which is almost 100 feet, 98 and change, which will be good for just about everything you're going out there. It can handle up to negative 10 degrees Celsius, which is 14 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just cold. And it's going to be coming in around $500. The interesting thing is, if Nikon's take on it is going to be better and some of the other ones we've seen come out, that is going to be the tester. It should be interesting to see, although I'm I'm betting that it's not going to be the stellar thing that we hope it is. I hope Nikon does well, but I don't think that they're going to do stunning and it's going to be superb and on top of everybody else. I just don't think so. GoPro this week announced 3 new things. The new GoPro Hero 5 Black, the Hero 5 Session, and of course Karma, their new drone. But let's talk about the Hero 5 Session, which is a small little square box. It's supposedly GoPro has said that they really simplified everything, made everything easier. So we'll have to see if we can ever get our hands on one, or 2 or 3 or whatever. But the smallest one is this GoPro Hero 5 Session. It's going to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, 1440p at 60 frames, and of course 1080p at 90 frames. So if you want some good looking slow motion at 1080p at 90 frames, should be pretty doggone good. It does 10 megapixel stills. It does have a burst mode, does up to 30 frames per second. It can do waterproof to 10 meters, which is 33 feet, and it's going to come in at $300 for a little bitty square, so not too bad. Though it seems a lot expensive for a little bitty square, but you know, proof is in the pudding. The GoPro Hero 5 Black is their newest flagship camera, if you will. It's also shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second, 1440 at 80 frames per second, which is 20 more than the other one, and 1080p at 90 frames per second. It has 12 megapixel stills. It also has a burst rate of 30 frames per second. But the interesting thing about it now is that it shoots RAW plus WDR photos. So when you're taking those stills, you can get the raw image of it and do some mirror manipulation if you want to. That is a pretty cool feature. It also has a new touch display coming to it. It has location capture, which is really good. Going to come in at $400. It's high, but I'm not sure if it's priced out of the market. I think it's priced right for GoPro. I would like to see it at the $350 mark, or right around that neck of the woods. About $400 shouldn't be too bad if it does everything that they say it's due. Both cameras are waterproof right out of the box, so no longer is there a need for that waterproof, big, bulky plastic container that got in the way. So with both of them having better mics and not having the need of that plastic container, you're going to get some better sound quality, which is good, which is what most of the complaints about the GoPro were in regards to that big case. They both have video stabilization. They both have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And they both also upload to GoPro's newest application in the cloud called GoPro Plus, which is kind of where you can go up and do all the editing you want to do and all that fun stuff on GoPro's dedicated site. Kind of neat. I think most people will like it if they're going to do a quick share, but for the most part I think people are going to go home, download it, and use their regular editing software that they like to use. It seems like GoPro's finally got out to where they need to be and made the cameras that they really should have made last on the Hero 4, but it all remains to be seen since it just came out. Haven't really seen any good quality video footage. I know a lot of people probably got their hand on it already and see what it is. Is it going to be worth it? We just have to wait and see. So hopefully so. But the biggest announcement was the Karma drone. It's a small foldable drone. It can fit in a specific pack that they can just throw on your back and go wherever you want to go. So you can take your camera, your drone, and off, go on a bike and go. No big heavy bag or anything like that. That is a smart move by GoPro. And plus the Karma has something interesting. It has a gimbal, a handheld one, that fits into the nose of the drone. That's actually removable. So if you don't want to take drone footage, but you still want the stabilization that a gimbal provides, you just pull it right on out, mount it on what you want to do, and go. You can hold it by hand, you can put it on a stand, whatever you want to do. So that, GoPro is smart by doing that. That's going to be awesome. So the Karma is going to be compatible with the new Hero 5 series, but it's also compatible with the Hero 4 Black and Silver cameras as well. coming in at $800 for the drone alone. You do get the handheld gimbal with that, but does not come with any cameras. But also watch the announcement that they did, and they also said that if you get the Hero 5 session along at the same time you get the drone, then the session gets reduced by $100. So you're looking at $9.99 for the Hero session plus the drone. If you get the drone plus the Hero 5 Black, that comes in at $1,099, so $100 off the Hero 5 Black. So $1,100 for a camera, a gimbal, and a drone. I think that's spot on, right where they needed to be. Let's talk about Google's naming schema, because they haven't got that thing figured out. Google introduced this week actually, Allo, whatever you want to call it, their new messaging app, which is in line with WhatsApp, which is the juggernaut in the room. But to be honest with you, I don't see a need for another messaging app. It's just not there. But I understand the reason why they split it out. You know, they had Hangouts was going to be the big de facto of everything, and I think they ran into a lot of problems combining everything into one. So that's probably why they split it up into two. You have Duo, which is the video, which is one-on-one only video, only does it on the phone, nothing on the computer. Then you have Allo, whatever you want to call it, is a new messaging app, as a standard messaging app, as you know, but it's connected to Google's AI. So when supposedly it should be able to give better replies and responses to the text that's happening and make things a little bit faster and a little bit better, in theory. But really, I mean, that messaging app is really a solution to a problem that's not there. I mean, it really is. But that's Google. And then on top of everything else, there's a rumor that Google might be changing out the Nexus name, getting rid of Nexus and calling it Pixel, which would put it in line with Chrome OS box they had. So there's some rumors going along that these new Google Nexus phones that are coming out by Google aren't going to be the Nexus. They're going to be called the Pixel and the Pixel XL. Don't understand why you would change it. You know, Google Nexus line is what developers really wanted because it's supposed to be on the forefront of technology. It's supposed to be where everything happens, which is where developers are, and giving them a product. But I think Google has moved away from a developer-only program to a more consumer-concentric program. And I think changing the name brings it in line with that program that they're trying to do. Supposedly starting out at $650. Not quite sure if that's how it's going to be. We're just going to have to wait and see exactly what happens. October 4th is when they're supposed to be making the announcement, so that should be interesting. So let me know what you think. Do you like the name change from Nexus to Pixel, or do you care, or does it even matter in the grand scheme of things? Let's talk about iPhone 7, because you know you can't have an iPhone 7 launch without some form of controversy. That's because it's a hissing monster without an ear hole. That's right. iPhone 7 supposedly giving hisses and pops as people utilize it. I don't know. You know, some people say it, some people don't. I know a couple people who have iPhone 7s. One has a 7, one has a 7 Plus, and they haven't mentioned anything about any type of hissing. Lou over at Unbox Therapy did a video on it. I'll link the description below so you can see and make your own, come to your own conclusion, see what you figure out, and let me know what you think. Because I personally don't think it's that big of a deal, but again, you know, everything's different for everybody who's got it. I figure if you pay $700-800 for a phone, I think makes more noise than you want it to, you got a right to say something. So that's it for the first episode of What. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this, let me know. Shoot me an email at Byron@ByronDoss.com. Let me know your thoughts, or if there's something you want to see or hear about, or any ideas. I'm more than happy for them. Shoot them out. Let me know. As always, you can join our chat over on River, and go to ByronDoss.com. Up at the very top it says Join River. Click on it. Come on in. Get in the chat and see what's happening, what we're talking about. You never know what's going to happen in there. Also, don't forget, sign up for Backblaze. Link below. It's a great unlimited backup tool for your computers, servers, multiples, whatever you have. The link below, free 30-day trial. Give it a shot, see what you think. I moved all my stuff to it and I highly recommend it. So, final thoughts, be good at something because that makes you special.